All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to round two here for Stony Brook University's virtual open house. My name again is Chris Dorso. I'm an assistant director in the admissions office, and I am joined here by Lakshmi Ramsundar. Lakshmi is an alum of Stony Brook, who is now one of our pre-professional advisors in our Center for Academic Advisement, and one of Lakshmi's specialties is working with our pre-med students, and obviously we have a lot. We get a lot of pre-med questions here.
A ton.
Yeah. And part of that, of course, is, sort of being who we are. People think of Stony Brook as a science school, and there's a lot, obviously, that goes into that. But Stony Brook does go quite a bit beyond that. But the pre-med piece is something that certainly comes up in conversations a lot with prospective students. And for those of you who are visiting us for the first time here, if you've got questions about pre-med things here at Stony Brook, feel free to ask, and we will get to as many of them as we possibly can. But so just to sort of go through some introductory kinds of things here, preparing for a health career at Stony Brook, what students need to know. The pre-med, we use sort of the pre-med term, right, to sort of cover any sort of pre-professional health programs, dental,
veterinary, optometry, podiatry. I mean, there's a lot that students who come into Stony Brook may say pre-med, but they mean pre-health, and so it can mean a lot of different health professions that are out there. So we try to encourage students to explore their options, make sure they're aware of what they're getting into, that they definitely want to do this. They have some experiences, they know they can handle maybe a little bit of blood and gore if they want to go into the medical field, something you'd see there.
That's why I'm not in the medical field, so that's fine.
Myself
yes,
as well.
right. Yes, we
but,
advise future doctors. We don't, right?
We'd love to help you get there, and
we
definitely see a lot of students from Stony Brook go on to be successful in those careers. But yeah, no, there's a lot of options to get involved in those things. Key thing in terms of coming to Stony Brook, if you do decide to do that, which we encourage and highly support, is that you know that you want to pursue a profession, or if you're not 100% sure which profession, that you will be happy here and you'll be successful here. So understanding what the school is about and understanding what you're looking for individually is important too. A little bit about
that, right?
Yeah. So when you come to Stony Brook in terms of pre-health, a lot of students think, oh, I have to be a biology major, I have to be a chemistry major, something science related. It's not true. So you can be anything in terms of, you can be a political science major and want to go to medical school and be very successful. So we have quite a few students who may decide to go to the social sciences and also do some biochemistry research on the side, take biology courses, take all the prerequisites, and be very happy in what they do, and kind of combine the knowledge that they've learned from both in terms of going on to the profession of choice.
Yeah, I had a student a couple years back who did a medical research kind of a program over the summer, was talking to some doctors, and they advised him to major in philosophy. It was something that he was interested in and something he was passionate about, and they said, if that's what you want to do, go for it, because there's a lot of important things to think about, ethics, and all the things that really tie in. And obviously you still have to do well in your science courses.
Exactly.
But you can really, again, do what you feel is the best fit for you.
Mm-hmm. And medical school, they want to see students that have a broad range in terms of knowledge. So you're going to find patients that may have different experiences, and to be able to relate to those, that's why you will take the classes that maybe is in music or arts or something else, just to get familiar, just to have a feel for it, even if you're not 100% going to pursue that field of choice. But you explore something new and have something new to talk about. So it's a nice option, and at Stony Brook in our curriculum here, you're able to do that, which is something I think is unique about the campus.
Great. So we started to get some questions in, so let's start taking some questions from folks. And we got a student question. Does it look better to go to Stony Brook than to apply to Stony Brook Medical School? Is it easier for Stony Brook students in the medical school at Stony Brook?
In terms of if you are a student here at Stony Brook, you decide to come to Stony Brook, it doesn't give you automatic preference, where in terms of getting into the medical school, although a lot of our students from Stony Brook do go to the medical school and matriculate there. So we are one of the top feeder schools for our own medical schools. So that's one positive thing. If you do come here, you're also taking the rigors of the courses, so you'd be more prepared in that sense if you did well here at Stony Brook. So if you were to take the science courses, performed, you know, getting A's in your classes, A's and B's and things like that, you would be successful there. Is it necessarily easier? It could be in some sense, depending on how you look at it, if you were a strong student. But you'd be competitive to any medical school that you'd apply to.
And I think that's the important thing to remember is that, you know, we do get a lot of students who say, oh, I want to go there and I want to go to Stony Brook School of Medicine. Keep in mind, you might change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You may decide to start pre-med and then decide to peel off and go, you're looking for a DO program, for example,
Right.
or something that, a specialty that you may find better elsewhere. Or you may say, you know what, I've done the Stony Brook thing and I want to look elsewhere in the country or another. I've had multiple people tell me that, you know, their Stony Brook undergraduate doctors say their Stony Brook undergraduate experience prepared them as well as, if not better, than their colleagues who went to any big name school that you can think of. And so, you know, that being a research university, you'll have options here.
Mm-hmm. And you'll definitely be prepared for those other medical schools that you go to as well. Sometimes, like Chris was mentioning, you may want to just see a different campus, see a different side of the country. So we have students that go from Stony Brook to California, and so they really enjoy it and they love it. So if that's what you want to do, you have those options to do that here. Yep. And the Stony Brook name is well known all over.
Absolutely. So we've got a question about the layout of the pre-med years. There's years of studies and residencies and all those kinds of things. So let's talk a little bit about sort of the 4-year plan for students who are doing pre-med at Stony Brook.
Sure. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, when students come in their first year here at Stony Brook, they'll start off with math and chemistry. Then in their second year go to biology and organic chemistry. Then their third year they'll have physics as well as biochemistry. And then most students will apply in the summer at the end of their junior year, where they will, you know, prepare to take the MCAT, to be ready to do the applications, and then apply. They'd apply broadly to all the schools. With the medical school application cycle, you actually apply 1 full year before you get in. So some students may decide that they're ready to do that at the end of their junior year. Some may decide to do that at the end of their senior year. It really depends on academically how competitive you are as an applicant and how much stuff you've done. And you can see on the screen, you know, the basic overview of the classes that you would need to have those medical school prerequisites in order to apply.
Great. We have a question about the combined BSMD program and information because there's not a whole lot available on the website. So the combined program here at Stony Brook is called the Scholars for Medicine program. It is a combined 8-year, designed as an 8-year. It's not an accelerated program. It's just a combined 8-year program. It is insanely competitive. It's very, very difficult to get into. They take a class of no more than 10?
Let's see, no more than 10, usually around 8 probably in any given year.
So ultimately for a student who's coming out of high school who says I want to apply for Scholars for Medicine, it's sort of a third step in the admissions process. So students are considered for admission to the university first, then they're considered for admission to one of our honors programs, either the Honors College or the WISE program, and then they're referred over to the School of Medicine for admission to the Scholars program. So you're not applying as a freshman into that program, you're applying to Stony Brook and then potentially be offered admission to that program as well. If you don't get into Scholars for Medicine, as Lakshmi said, we take, you know, maybe there's 8 students in Scholars for Medicine, but we have a lot more students than that go to medical schools every year. So for our seniors, those decisions are coming out right now, and we have gotten emails and phone calls in the last couple of days. Well, I didn't get into Scholars for Medicine, what do I do now? Well, now you get to be a college student and you can apply wherever you want to apply for med school, and you can apply to Stony Brook and you can also apply other places. And it really allows you to keep your options open over the course of your 4 years.
And you can still go from Stony Brook undergrad to Stony Brook Medical School in the same 8 years if you wanted to do that. So there's still that option there.
Absolutely. Basically, in order to get into that program, you really need to have really demonstrated at the high school level that real aptitude. And if we're going to promise you a spot in medical school at 17, you've really got to show that admissions committee something more than, hey, I think I want to be a doctor. And so it's very, very, very selective. and it's an incredible opportunity if you do get into it. It does guarantee you that spot as long as you do what you need to do, but know that there are lots of other ways to get into medical programs down the road.
So we have another question about, can I use biomedical engineering courses for my pre-med courses? You can. If the prerequisites overlap, you definitely can use those classes, which I know there is quite a bit of overlap. With the pre-med requirements, it goes for all medical schools, so you would need to take those specific courses. If there was one that fell outside of biomedical engineering, then you would add that to your schedule. But it can be done, and we have seen some students be very successful with managing the course load. If possible, you needed to add some time, there is, options for taking classes in the summer, or, if you wanted to take something in the winter, that's a possibility as well.
Great. We've got a question about counselors to help with your schedule, and so this is sort of really broader than the pre-med piece, but the pre-professional advising office is there to help you. At what point do you guys start seeing students who are interested in pre-med?
So for students who are interested in pre-med, we will start seeing you as early as your freshman year, possibly. You have dedicated freshman advisors that you would go to for, basic scheduling help, and they know the overview of what you would need for your first year. But we will be happy to meet with you if you wanted to meet for a one-on-one appointment to kind of discuss what your timeline is. If you're that eager student that wanted to get ahead of the game, then you can definitely do that. But we typically see sophomores through alumni. So even if you graduated and decided later on in life, let's say you didn't decide pre-med was for you as an undergrad, but you came back to Stony Brook and you wanted to pursue it, we can guide you through that path, even as an alum.
And you can see as we're sort of clicking through some of the faculty that are affiliated with the medical program here, and really it's something I said in the earlier session. Get out and get to know faculty. Look around the websites. Look for faculty who share the kinds of interests that you have. If you have a particular research interest, find those folks, seek them out, and ask them if they need help. Basically, go out there, and the earlier you get to know people, the better off you're going to be down the road, or the easier it is for those folks to write recommendation letters for you for your medical school applications down the road.
Or even any other health profession, if it's medical
True.
school or not. So it's really important. You're here at a top research university. You should really take advantage of all the resources around you. So we try to encourage students as early as their first year, first semester, start getting to know your faculty from then, so that they can know you and they can be able to build that relationship as you go through your 4 years here.
As far as the class piece, and I see we have another question up, I want to go back to the class question for a minute. We do have a slide that has a list of courses. There are a 3-slide sequence with a bunch of courses. And so in addition to the kinds of courses, the biochem, physics, sort of the basic pre-med kinds of courses, you really want to explore and look at all the opportunities that are out there for you academically. And this is where the advisement piece really plays in. Things like anatomy and physiology, which are courses that you're probably going to want to take, and then where you can kind of go from there and look at the other options that are there. If you're thinking about alternative medicine, or
philosophy
right.
of medicine, or something in humanities, which is not necessarily tied to the science, the core science of research and things like that, but you can actually kind of see the compassionate care, patient care related experiences and how to deal with different ethical issues in medicine and discussing those and be prepared for the different topics that do come up.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right, so I want to address the question about volunteer work at the hospital. So if you're not familiar with the area, we do have Stony Brook University Health Science Center and University Hospital and Health Science Center that is right across the street. And having a research facility like Stony Brook University Hospital right on campus is a fantastic opportunity for you as an undergrad to really get out there and do those kinds of things. So can you talk a little bit about what options are here on campus for students?
Sure. So in terms of research opportunities, a lot of the faculty, like Chris mentioned, are doing research. So you can actually talk to your individual faculty members in your classes, in terms of what research they're doing. Because you may find a specific topic in a biology course that you're taking and say, oh, I really want to learn more about this and I really have a passion for this. Some of you may have research from high school in terms of research experience. You may want to continue with that and explore that. So talking to the individual faculty members is a great way during their office hours. Another opportunity that we have is called the Academic Associates Program here at Stony Brook, which is great, where students can get involved with clinical research. So kind of, working with patients and also doing research at the same time, not necessarily only in a lab. And so that opportunity is geared towards students who are really interested in getting hands-on experience, and you can apply for that in your junior and senior year, where you would earn credit for getting that research experience while working with doctors, while shadowing them and interacting with patients. So that's another very good opportunity. We also have affiliations with Brookhaven National Lab, where a lot of our students do research, and the faculty from Stony Brook, since they're so adventurous and so talented in terms of their knowledge and their skill and their known, they do research there as well. So that's another opportunity for students to do research, and we have a lot of our students doing research there during the semesters and summers and winters, so there's all different times of the years to do that. If students look up, so there's PubMed.gov, you see there on the website Medline. It's a great way to look for a specific type of research. So let's say you're interested in obesity research. So there are different faculty members, different doctors here at the university that are doing research on obesity and how to work with maybe younger adolescents who are suffering from this disease, and to kind of see what affects their internal systems from that. And so if you're interested in that kind of research, you can look on Medline and type in obesity research, Stony Brook, and kind of see what information and who's doing research on that topic. If you know a specific person, you can locate them, see what research that they've done, what they've published, and reach out to them that way. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved with different types of research here at the institution. And if you're not sure where to start, we have our undergraduate Research and Creative Activities office, which is called Eureka. And a lot of students may also visit that office to get some experience in terms of how to go about looking for research, how to look for a mentor, a faculty mentor. And we have a fair every spring semester where all the students and their mentors present the research that they've been working on here at the university, so that their fellow peers can see what they've done, their students. And students also go to different conferences all over the country to present their work, and sometimes internationally. So it's a great place to get some research experience if that's what you're looking for.
Good. And what about opportunities at the hospital? What do you know for availability over there for students who are interested in doing
volunteer?
Yeah.
Work. So if you're interested in volunteer work, we have a volunteer office at the hospital. There's a lot of different opportunities to volunteer in different areas: pediatrics, geriatrics, oncology. So students have a wide range of options of where they can get some type of health-related experience. We also have the Long Island Veterans Home on campus, where students can volunteer as well and work with those patients. Because we're such a science-focused school, we have the luxury of having the hospital and the Veterans Home on campus. It's very close by. You can walk across the street and get some experience. So there's always time you can build into your schedule to go across and volunteer.
Okay. We've got a question about club opportunities on campus, and I know we have a slide of clubs and organizations for students, so somewhere on there we've got that. There they are.
So in terms of clubs and organizations, in terms of getting involved, there's a lot of different pre-health clubs on campus. So there's pre-med, pre-dental, pre-vet, pre-PA. There's a lot of them, where our students are very active students in terms of their profession that they're pursuing. And so they will seek out those opportunities to get involved in different related experiences, where they invite different admissions members from different schools to come talk to their group. They'll have different events where they can go off campus to maybe visit a medical school or visit a hospital in a different location. Sometimes they may do other community service related activities where they can help the local community and communities outside in the city. So there's many opportunities in terms of clubs and involvement, opportunities to get involved in clubs and organizations on campus.
Yep. The Stony Brook Volunteer Ambulance Corps there on your screen is a fantastic opportunity for students. Our undergrads run an ambulance corps here on campus. They're the first responders for incidents that are on main campus here. So a great opportunity if you're interested in emergency medicine to really learn how that works across the board and really get that sort of experience as an undergrad.
And that's a great thing to look at if you're very interested in going into any area of health. So if you were thinking medical school or not sure yet, it would be a great experience to get involved with. If not your first year, you want to make sure that you're getting your core classes done, you're doing well academically, performing strong. if this is, you know, something that you couldn't do your first year, definitely your sophomore, junior, senior year is a great time to do it as well.
Great. Question about how would you rank the Stony Brook's medical program against other universities' programs? What sets Stony Brook apart in regards to our medical program specifically? So now we're not going to disparage other campuses and other medical programs, but I guess what makes Stony Brook's program distinct?
Sure. So unique, I guess, at Stony Brook is the opportunities to do research, the opportunity to do community service, which are two things I think the medical school heavily weighs on, because we are a state school. They're focused on, you know, giving back to the community, making sure they're training medical physicians to be family care practitioners, as well as, you know, in the various disciplines of anesthesiology and the other highly recognized disciplines. But it's nice because the class itself, in terms of the medical class, is 124 students. And so you get to know your fellow classmates. You get to know them very well. You get to be in the classroom with them. You study with them. Your life is with these students. And so they become very close in your family. And with the medical school here, it's very much about everyone taking care of each other, I would say. And so that is one thing that makes us unique, along with the other opportunities of studying abroad, doing research, you know, getting all the other experiences that you would at any other institution.
Great. Mm-hmm. All right, we got a question from a student asking about IB programs coming out of high school and sort of what advantages a student would have coming out of an IB program. So I want to address the sort of high school piece in general. So a lot of our students do come in with either IB credit or AP credit or college credit, somewhere along those lines. So in terms of the advantage of having the background of a real rigorous chemistry course and a real rigorous calculus course, and you know, doing the IB math or the AP calc or something along those lines, you're, at least in theory, ready for Calc 1. You're ready for Chem 1. You're ready for Honors Chem when you get here to Stony Brook. So from a class preparation standpoint, having that AP IB stuff is very, very important. Now, coming from you know, when I apply to medical school down the road standpoint, you know, if you got a 5 on an AP chemistry exam, that will place you theoretically out of the first chemistry sequence here. But as far as applying to medical schools,
we recommend that even though you have a 5 on the AP chemistry, you may want to retake that class here at Stony Brook. You want to sit through, make sure that you're ready to take it at a college level. The 5 on the AP is a great indication that you are ready to handle more. But in terms of taking a chemistry class, there's a new sequence here at Stony Brook where it would test your ability in terms of level of knowledge, and so you'd be able to take a higher level to be able to use that advanced knowledge into another sequence of chemistry here at Stony Brook. So you can, you know, to use that as an advantage in terms of continuing your knowledge and also doing well and performing strongly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really important piece. I mean, when you're applying to medical school at 21, 22, you know, a chemistry course that you took at 16 in high school may not really tell that medical school admissions committee as much as a college chemistry course that you took within that 4-year undergraduate experience that, hey, you did really well in because you had that AP Chem background. So there's a kind of an interesting slide up now about sort of how your 8 semesters kind of lay out within those courses, and you can see the opportunities that you have to prove that you can handle the rigors of medical school. Take advantage of those opportunities. If you are a real solid chem student, make sure you're in an appropriate chemistry course so that you can do really well and then show those medical schools, hey, I am a chem whiz, I can totally do this.
And also see your advisor. If you're not sure where you fall, if you can handle that course, you want to make sure that you're starting off at the right place when you start here at Stony Brook. So making sure that you start at that class that you can handle it is a good place to be. And building too as well. Chris also mentioned doing well. When you start at the chemistry level 1, if you are ready to build on a solid foundation, because your classes only go up from there, so you start with general chemistry, then you move to organic, then you move to biochemistry. So if you don't have that solid foundation, then you won't be able to build the nice blocks in terms of that tower that you want to set for yourself in terms of being a competitive applicant.
Yeah, we'll have a student who you know, maybe will have taken a real advanced student who took you know, calc as a junior in 11th grade, and then says, oh well, I'm done with math, I don't have to take math senior year, and then they get here in August and they haven't seen calculus for a year, and all of a sudden it's space language. So you really want to make sure that you're working hard and building that, let your academic piece build on itself, and make sure that you're making that sort of grander plan as well. So a question about majors, and what do most pre-med students major in?
So many pre-med students across the country, not just here at Stony Brook, about 70% of students that do apply to medical school are in a science major, whether it's biology, biochemistry, chemistry itself, maybe an anthropology science-focused major, or psychology, which we have here, the psychology Bachelor of Science. So many students do major in those science classes, but we have that other 30% who apply, have different majors in, like I mentioned before, political science, maybe arts, theater, music. So it really depends on what your passion is in, and your ability to juggle both the science and the non-science. So really just being strong overall will make you a competitive applicant.
Okay. Question about when, as an underclassman, as a junior in high school, to start working, if you have affiliation with doctors or hospitals, does it make sense to start doing that now in high school, rather than wait till college time?
The earlier the better. If you know this is something you want to pursue and it's going to be a life passion, if you can, get some experience now and see for sure if that's what you want to pursue for, the rest of your life, then yeah, I would say from early as, whether you're junior or senior in high school, you would want to decide, you want to get that experience to confirm what your beliefs are. If you have that experience and you decide, okay, maybe I don't want to do this profession and there's something else I saw that I want to do, then that will, give you time early on to kind of decide, hey, maybe I want to pursue this on the side as well, or something else. So earlier the better, and the more the merrier.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point, because we get a lot of questions about students who want to go to medical school. We get questions about students who want to go to dental school. PA, PT, and nursing. Those are probably, I would think, the big five that we get the most questions about. And maybe you don't think about some of the, like optometry, for example,
Right.
as maybe something you don't think about because, it's just, who wants to be an optometrist at 16? But they're out there, and they probably do pretty well for themselves.
Yeah.
And so you want to really make sure that you're exposing yourself. We get students we offer an introduction to nursing course here for students who are non-nursing majors or who are interested in potentially going into nursing. And it gives you the opportunity to say, you know what? Maybe this is not really what I wanted to do. You mentioned the blood and gore thing. You say, I didn't realize that nursing involved blood and bodily fluids and things. I want to do something that's maybe a little less clinical. And so it's important, again, to really keep that, keep those options wide open. And not narrow yourself down too soon. We got another question about narrowing your focus. We'll have students who will walk up to us and say, I want to be a pediatric surgeon at 17. What do you recommend for somebody who does that, who is that specific that early?
So for some people that works for them. Some people you can be that specific that early. Unless you have experienced that and you've experienced other things, you've allowed yourself to experience other things, then you're able to make that decision. But if you haven't, you might not be able to. So I, for example, had a student who came into my office maybe 2 years ago that was sure that they wanted to pursue medical school because they always, heard from their parents, and they always thought, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Their first time volunteering in a hospital, they were in the emergency room, and they saw a lot that day, their first day, and then they decided that they couldn't. But they still, so they still love the science of it. And so then at that point, they decided, maybe I don't want to be in the front line of dealing with patients, but I still want to do the behind the scenes kind of things. And so that student, we explored some options, and they found that clinical laboratory sciences, which is someone who works with the different fluids in terms of your blood tests and your different tests that doctors send out for, they're the ones who are the first people that see what's wrong with you or how healthy you are. And so for that person, that was the right profession for them, and they discovered that early enough where they can make that change in their academic career. So having a good idea of other options that are out there is really key in terms of your profession of choice that you decide. A great website to go to is explorehealthcareers.org. It gives you a lot of options of all the health professions that are out there, what the career path is, the years of school, the average salary. So you can actually, explore that website, explorehealthcareers.org. You can just Google it if you if you forget, and it'll come up and show you a lot of different things that are out there that you can pursue.
Very good. Which sort of leads into another question about minoring or double majoring in something into the sciences or non-sciences or anything along those lines.
Yeah. Quite a few students here at Stony Brook do double major or they minor in something. So for example, for that student who, let's say, is a biology major and they've taken a lot of chemistry courses because they are that chemistry whiz, they choose to do that and they have fun with it. Or if they love to dance and they wanted to be a dance minor, they can do that as well, and while taking the sciences and being a science major. Or vice versa. But there's quite a few students here at on campus that pursue a double major or a minor or two minors. You just have to find that right balance, and the balance is the key, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself where you're taking so many classes that you're not performing well. It's not about how it's going to look to medical schools. It's going to be about, are you happy? Are you performing well? Are you a competitive student?
Yeah, I had a student in my freshman seminar 3 years ago, who told me during the first week of class that he wanted to triple major in computer science, Japanese, and I don't remember what the third thing was, and he wanted to spend a year abroad, and he wanted to do it in 4 years. And I told him that he was going to have to maybe prioritize just one of those things, or maybe two of those things. And it's fun to think of all the opportunities that are going to be available to you in college, don't get me wrong, but you want to really think about what you're doing and not take stuff just to take stuff, but to really be thoughtful and plan as much as you can in advance so that you're getting as broad an experience as you possibly can. So we are coming up on time, so I do want to do our little wrap up and sort of get a sense. Let's see, where do our wrap up slides? There they are. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in terms of being a successful student of applying to any of these health professions, whether it's medical school or dental school or something else, or even a profession outside of the health field, you don't have to be perfect. Some B's are okay, you would survive and you can get through it. You want to show them
Not a B!
So you want to show them that you're strong, you're motivated, you're persevering through. A lot of it is these classes may be hard or they may not be. It's getting through them, focusing on the task at hand, and being successful in getting your dreams accomplished. So being strong is a big part of wanting to go through this entire process of going to medical school or going into a health profession.
I have a quick side note there. Please don't compare yourself to your friends.
Don't.
Please, I know that you oh, well, my friend got a B plus and I got a B. Like, you are not your friend. You're not doing the same things. You are entirely separate people. And I know it's easy to compare yourself to your friend who you both want to be doctors, but again, sort of stretch. Be your own dog and make sure that you're doing what's best for you.
And that's really key, because a lot of students that may, decide that they want to pursue medical school, they read a lot of these blogs. You'll find out about them once you get here. I'm not going to let you start reading them now, but, you want to really focus on you and try not to get overwhelmed with reading about what other people are doing and what they've achieved and what they haven't achieved, even though they have what they have. So really try to figure out what's best for you, and you're not competing against your friends. You're trying to be successful in what your life goals are and pursuing those. So take the time to figure that out once you're here at Stony Brook, or even now while in high school over the summer. And a few final websites that I mentioned. So I did mention explorehealthcareers.org. That's a great website to kind of get an overview of different health professions. We also have SMDP programs, which at Stony Brook, once you get here, you can apply to these summer medical, dental opportunity programs that allow you to get experience, health-related experience at different universities. And so you can do that as well. The AAMC.org is for medical school applicants and doctors, so there's different parts of that. So if you are interested in going on to medical school, you can visit that website and definitely read a ton of information, more than enough time that you have. And then the ADEA.org is for dental school applicants, so students who are interested in pursuing dentistry as a profession, and similar to that.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, and do visit the pre-health website at Stony Brook. There's a lot of resources there, starting right from freshman year, from high school even, all the way up through your medical, dental, optometry, veterinary school experiences. And we do appreciate everybody who took the time to throw some questions at us. We will continue to be live. We are going to take a break now. We will come back live again at 6 o'clock with some students from the university's College of Business. So get those business questions cracking. And we will be also joining Text Chat Live at 7 o'clock. So in addition to the video piece, you'll have text as well. So thanks again for coming, and we will see you all at 6 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.
And best of luck.